Welcome to the RSR Network. We have the Red Line Racing Can-Am cars at Talladega. We're sorry for the inconvenience, but we had some computer problems and we couldn't get it straightened out. But we figured we could get you to the last part of this race to get to the action. Here we are under caution currently, lap 30 of 45. Not sure what caused that wreck there.
Looked to be the 65 Marty Ray trying to get back going, and he kind of looped it and went up into the outside wall. That's what the caution was for. After him and Edward Finger got into it about half a lap before that on the back straightaway.
See if we can get a replay here. You see the 65 of Marty Ray sandwiched in between the two cars of the 14 of Roger Buff and the 8 of Edward Finger. And you see the 8 hits that bumper there on the wrong side, and around goes Marty Ray. Tough break for him.
Yeah, tough break, definitely running up in the top 3, but with the caution coming out, let's get a bunch of 9 lead lap cars back on together, or we can get a good race to the finish, Kevin.
I think we will have a good finish here. You see the guys getting some work done on pit road, some rubber and some fuel to make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, just a 45 lap main event, so this could be the last restart of the race. These drivers are going to have to put themselves in the best situation for them to get the best finish possible here at the Speedway. Once again, Kevin, we see Roger Buff out in front. And every broadcast I've been a part with this league, Roger Buff has been out in front. So not really surprised by that, but we do have some new names that I haven't seen yet in the league. But yeah, 9 cars on the lead lap, 1 car 3 laps down, and 1 car retired from the race, 24 laps down. Only 11 drivers entered this race, Kevin, but it's been a really good race so far. I've watched most of it. A lot of side-by-side action, and some really good driving with these competitors.
Since I couldn't view the race, I don't have any information of what went on during the time we didn't have the broadcast up. Can you give a perspective of how the race started, Avery?
Yeah, we had on the pole was Marty Ray. Roger Buff started on the outside, very close on times. I had a good start to the race. A lot of side-by-side action, a little bit of lead swapping. But yeah, other than that, Kevin, it's been a fantastic race. Really good side-by-side drafting, a lot of side drafting, and people are working together to make sure those cars are straight on when they're trying to bump draft.
Yeah, let's go through your field right now. And first, we got Roger Buff, and in second, we got Jared Wishin, and in third, we got Dean Flincham. Fourth is Mark Haney. And rounding out your top 5 is Marty Ray, who was just involved in that incident for the caution. And 6th, we got Adam Eisenhower. 7th, we got Matthew Almany. And in 8th, we got Edward Finger. And rounding out your lead lap cars in 9th place, we got Matthew Correa.
Yeah, I mean, it's we got a lot of cars still on the lead lap, Kevin. And we talked about it last week, the side draft. Trying to break up the air a little bit to slow each other down. So we're going to see some side drafting here on the restart. Looks to be 2 to green here at the Talladega Super Speedway. So yeah, we're going to try to look for those guys on the outside line to move down to close that gap up when they're side by side.
I'm going to take us onto a quick screen. I just want to take you off air for a second. I need to get something worked up here. I'll be right back for a quick second. Alright, we're back here live on the RSR network. Sorry for that delayed interruption. The lights on the pace car are off. You see Roger Buff there in the lead. We are in turn 1 here at Talladega.
Yeah, it looks to be single file restarts, Kevin. Kind of like they are. That was in the ARCA series. I think they do single file restarts, but you know, it's going to be a good start. You know, try to defend the line. And definitely want to make sure you're out in front with these cars, or if you're going to try to make the pass, I really think you need to be on the outside and get a good run and come down and come in front of the leader.
Coming in these closing laps here at Daytona, we wish we had the coverage for you at the beginning of the race, but unfortunately due to circumstances beyond my control, we could not get it up. But now we have it. We are going to enjoy the last few laps here, the Red Line Racing League.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody for tuning in for this main event here with the Red Line Racing League, Kevin. This pace car is getting ready to make that hard left-hand turn to get, hopefully, the final restart under the way. Kevin calls to the green.
See, that pace car is going to make that hard left, and there it drops down. Roger Buff maintaining that position up on the high side of that outside wall. Green flag is going to be in the air in a moment. And there it goes, Roger Buff, Jared Wishon, and Don Flincham, your top 3.
Bad start for Mark Canny. Couldn't quite get the throttle down. So that is a huge gap. But, you know, really, I don't think that's going to hurt him, Kevin. They're side by side up there. The number 22 is to the inside of Jared Wishon, and that's going to, you know, not really help him out. So that bad restart really didn't hurt those guys because they're going to get on the draft and start going.
Meanwhile, up front, Roger Buff on that outside getting a push from Jared Wishon. Don Flincham, he was in the inside but drops that car up to the top. Oh, you want to drop it.
Marty Ray got a handful of Eisenhower. Eisenhower going to go to the outside of number 22, Don Flincham. Outside, going to take over third, and they're going to have a handful of traffic right in front of them. The top 2 competitors, Roger Buff out in front with Jared Wishon helping him. 2 wide behind him. Candy to the outside of number 22. Side by side for the lead.
See that outside line. They're going to get some momentum here with that third car, but oh no, we're going to have a wreck here. Marty Ray. Looks like that bumper incident happened to him once again.
Yeah, it looked like, you know, Marty Ray was getting a handful of Adam Eisenhower to work their way to the front with the bump draft, and Marty Ray kind of went a little high, and that got Eisenhower to the inside of him and not straight on, and that caused him to get into the 14, the 48, the 24, the 8, and the 7. All had a lot of contact in that accident.
You know, I want to go on board with Roger Buff on that one because it looked like he was in the back there. And, oh no, he was involved in that, okay. See, on board with Roger Buff. Saw his car strolling in the back there, but he did get turned. I forgot he was in that lead pack there. You see the cars go tumbling in the air.
Yeah, he was, you know, had a good run. And, you know, just wasn't able to, you know, avoid that accident. You know, things happen. But drivers that were collected up with damage from that accident was Jared Wishon, looked to be Mark Canny, Adam Eisenhower, Roger Buff, Tommy Anderson, Matthew Almany, Marty Ray, and then going for a flying ride, Edward Finger and Don Flincham. Eisenhower, the only damage he got was just a little bit from the front end, Kevin. But these drivers have 2 resets, so maybe some of these drivers are going to be able to get that car repaired.
Adam Eisenhower and Mark Canny elect to stay out on the racetrack.
Yeah, that damage that Kane got was very minor damage, not significant. So he's gonna be just fine. But got a couple of cars coming in for pit road. Albany exiting. Oh, there goes Matthew Carrera, and then the 14 of Roger Buff just barely beats out Jared Wishon. Here comes Don Fincham. Marty Ray didn't have the faster pair remaining. Either it looks to be Edward Finger, Matthew Albany, or Tommy Anderson. So, Kevin, these drivers are going to get that cars repaired and hopefully get back out here. But at the moment, we only have 6 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's going to be any one of their shots to win that race. Unfortunate circumstances here. A couple cars do not have that fast repair. And they're going to be struggling when they do get that damage fixed. They're not going to be up to speed. And their races are pretty much done. So it's up to these top 6 here to make something happen. We're inside 10 laps to go here at Talladega in the Red Line Racing League.
Yeah, Adam Eisenhower out in front after making a little bit of contact, but he's gonna have a handful of, looks to be Matthew Carrera, so he's hoping Carrera can get to his rear bumper and just give him the beans and keep him out in front. But on Mark Haney's hand, he's got Jared Wishon, he's been out in front most of this race. But then the other guy to look out for is at 5th, Kevin, is Roger Buff, who was leading during the incident. He's gonna find a way to make his moves and hopefully get him up to the front so we get a good 3 or 4 wide finish.
Talk about beans. How about opening a can of beans for Mark Canny? Let's see if he can make it happen here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, he's been running really strong. Had a little contact earlier in the race. But, it's anything can happen, Kevin, with these drivers here at Talladega Super Speedway, the 2.66 mile Super Speedway. You can fit 4 or 5 wide, so we might see some fantastic finishing, but we've said it earlier in the broadcast, a side draft, and we noticed a little bit of that, but not to the extreme of what's actually possible. So we're gonna have to wait for the restart, see if something happens.
Talladega is one of the largest track on the NASCAR schedule, so the top speeds here, they're going to be a little bit more than what we see at Daytona.
Yeah, the pace car lights are off, so we're going to get the restart this time by. Kevin, these guys it's a single file restart, so you got to try to find out who you can hook up with, Kevin, and try to stay together with them till the finish. It's been a good race so far. We've completed 37 laps of the scheduled 45. We are on lap 38. So, Kevin, this will most likely be the final restart unless we unfortunately get an incident right away. But, Eisenhower needs to get a good restart, and he needs to get a good restart from Canny to help him out. But if you do get a bad restart, Kevin, like what happened earlier, that's not really that big of a deal if you can get together with 3 or 4 cars and work your way to the front.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what type of strategy these drivers are going to work out on these closing laps. You see that pace car is going to make the hard lap down the pit road into the grass.
Look at that gap, Kevin, between 3rd and 4th and 3rd and 2nd.
See, the green flag is in the air. These drivers, it looks like a couple guys didn't want to go there. Roger Buff looks to the outside there.
Yeah, buffed his way up to the outside, battling for the lead. Looked to be for the 99 of Matthew Carrera, was not able to get a good restart. So right now it's Eisenhower leading the inside, Buff leading the outside. Eisenhower's got a handful of Canny. Canny's got a handful of Matthew Carrera. Looks like Eisenhower goes to the bottom below the yellow line, Kevin, to make it 3 wide. So Buff is now leading the outside and Canny is now leading the inside. Now Buff has a handful of Jared Wishon and restarted 5th, Kevin.
See the action there towards the back. They were momentarily 3 wide there, but now they cleared it and back to 2 wide here. So whatever happened there, trouble has been avoided.
Eisenhower might have a little bit of damage from that incident on the last yellow, but Buff has cleared Canny. But can Wishon clear him too? Yes. They're going to move down to the bottom line, or they're going to protect the middle. The middle is being held by Don Flincham. He's going to work his way to the inside, looking high, trying to get help from Tommy Anderson, who's 6 laps down as they go onto the back straightaway.
With that 22 car of Don Flincham, he got a real jump of speed there, making his way to 3rd place. That was a great move by him.
Tommy Anderson on the outside, getting a little bit of help from the number 65 of Marty Ray. Marty Ray on the lead lap. But right now, if I was driving this car and I wasn't in 3rd or 2nd or 3rd, or excuse me, 1st or 2nd, I want to get that outside line. Marty Ray to the inside of Anderson. And they make contact problems. Anderson, Ray, Canny, hard on the outside wall was Ray. Matthew Carrera also involved in that incident, Kevin. The caution is out. That looks to be the race, but I am not sure if we will get another restart, Kevin.
We're going to look on the replay here. See the 65 Marty Ray gets into the 7 there.
Looks like they're running it out, Kevin. Looks like they're running the race out. Buff on the inside. Help from the number 22 of Don Flincham on the outside. It looks to be the number 8 of Edward Finger. The number 48 of Jared Wishon on the outside. Looks to be going green to the finish. He buffed his way up to the front, and he's got a lot of help from Flincham. Edward Finger is 1 lap down, so he is not involved with this race actually for the win. The 86 of Adam Eisenhower are going to try to get a little bit of help from Matthew Almany, who is 2 laps down, but Buff leading the way. Going to go 3 laps to go here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Kevin, you saw Buff his way up to the front, and we might get a little run on the outside of the number 24, Matthew Almany and Adam Eisenhower.
Pretty sure the pace car is going to show up here, and no need to freak out. They can drive right through it.
Finger on the inside. He's running to the middle. Eisenhower, he's got to be frustrated with that. He's trying to battle for the win. Oh, he just gave him the contact. So right now, what's between Buff and Flincham? Got to be very disappointing for Eisenhower, as they were going to have a battle for the win, Kevin. But the contact was made with the lap down car of Edward Finger. 2 laps to go as they enter onto the back straightaway. Doing a little follow the leader, Don Flincham, Roger Buff. Last week, Kevin, Buff was going to the finish in the lead, but contact was made, and he ended up finishing 3rd.
Yeah, it's going to be down to these 2 cars. We're going to see remnants of what we've seen at Daytona 2 weeks ago.
I don't know, Kevin. They're going to cross the start-finish line for the final time, taking the white flag. 1 lap to go here at the Talladega Superspeedway. The next flag will be the checkered. Our results will be most likely incorrect because of the caution and a black flag. Buff to the outside. He wants to get the run coming out of 4. Buff going to get in the tow, or the draft, as the NASCAR friends would say. Buff going to go high. Is Flincham going to block? No, he's not going to block. Maybe he wants to let Buff go in front. Nobody wants to lead right now, Kevin. Buff. Is he going to buff his way to the finish, or are we going to see Flincham flinch his way to the finish?
I think we're going to see Roger Buff pull this one out. He's going to get that side draft, and where the start-finish line is located. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a drag race. Buff has the lead. Can Flincham get it on the bottom? The winner is going to be, looks to be, Roger Buff, your winner here at the Talladega Superspeedway by .011. 1-1, Kevin. So Roger Buff beat Matthew Flincham. Matthew Flincham. Don Flincham. It's going to say Matthew Carrera as our winner, but it was Roger Buff.
Yeah, due to the iRacing black flags, the results will not show up the correct way, so we can't bring that to you. We wish we could.
Yeah, it looks like Jared Wishin would have gotten third, and that's about as far as I can guesstimate on where people were finished. But Kevin, we were only able to get a couple laps of this race, and we do apologize for our technical difficulties, but we had a great finish between Buff and Don Flincham, Kevin. And, we had some contact, a couple cautions when we were here, which was a little unfortunate, but things do happen, Kevin. But overall, for the little bit of time we had of the race, what were your thoughts?
It was pretty enjoyable until the end there. I wish, it looked like some drivers were a little unhappy there and whatnot, and took a lot out. But nonetheless, that's racing. Tempers get a little flared and everything. So hopefully we can move forward and look on to the next 2 weeks here. I believe next week we will be off. The league itself, I don't know if it's going to be off, but due to the holiday weekend, there will be no broadcast from RSR Network.
Yeah, we cover these guys. This will be our third race, I believe, Kevin. The first room that was private, and we do enjoy doing these, and we're just going to hope that the next time we have these guys live on the RSR Network, it's going to be another fantastic battle. Whether you're going to be watching the NASCAR race, watching the IndyCar race next weekend, or watching the F1, or watching all three of them, hope you enjoy that weekend, Kevin.
Yeah, I hope you do too. And from the Redline Racing League and on here on RSR Network, I'm Kevin Drozinski. Naver McDonald here in the booth. Good night, everybody.
Night.